Hello everyone. My name is Dr. P. Balaraju, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, SRR Gout Arts and Science College, Karimnagar. Today we are going to discuss a special topic that is a special type of chromosomes or gained chromosomes. Okay, so actually, all the chromosomes in a cell morphologically, structurally, almost all similar. They can exhibit a similar morphology. But in some organisms, in some types of cells, some chromosomes have different morphology and structure. So these chromosomes are called as special chromosomes or gained chromosomes. Okay. So these chromosomes are mainly three types. One is salivary gland chromosomes. I will exhibit the picture. I will show you. So this is salivary gland chromosome or gained chromosome or polygene chromosome. Okay. So actually these polygene chromosomes were first observed by Balbiani, Italian scientist Balbiani, in the salivary glands of some insects. Okay, so in Drosophila melanogaster also. So they are present in Drosophila also. So that's why they are called as salivary gland chromosomes. Okay, and here actually what happens here, these chromosomes these chromosomes form a single chromosome. The chromonimata of single chromosome replicates many times without nuclear division. That is why there are many copies of a single chromosome. Single chromonimata. So that's why in a cell there are many similar DNA copies. For example, in Drosophila, polygene chromosomes, that's why they are called as polygene chromosomes. In Drosophila, a single chromonimata has up to 1,000 copies. Okay, in Drosophila, up to 1,000 copies of DNA is there, or in Drosophila. That's why they are popularly known as polygene chromosomes beside salivary gland chromosomes. Okay, and they're also called as Balbiani chromosomes because they were observed first time by Balbiani. Okay, so these are the salivary gland chromosomes and polygene chromosomes. If you see here, these are the polygene chromosomes. Many copies of a single chromonimata, a single chromosome. So here, sometimes what will happen, particularly in Drosophila, polygene chromosomes, the centromere of polygene chromosomes fuse at at a time, fuse at their centromeres to form a radiating structure of all polygene chromosomes. Okay, so here the meeting point is known as chromocenter. So this is the radiating structure of all polygene chromosomes of Drosophila, right? So here the polygene chromosomes in Drosophila also form, they fuse at centromeres, at their centromeres. Okay, so the meeting point is also known as chromocenter. So it is a radiating structure of all polygene chromosomes in Drosophila, right? And if you see here, every polygene chromosome has some bands and interbands. You know, just you are clearly able to view, able to understand, find out the bands and interbands. Just I will show you. So these are the bands and interbands. This is a electron microscopic picture. So here we can clearly observe the bands and interbands. So the bands are euchromatic. You know in between two euchromatic bands, there is a interchromatic bands and interbands. Okay, so they have a specific genes. They have specific loci of genes. That's why these bands and interbands also used in chromosome mapping because their position is unique. You know, the formation of bands and interbands, they have some special type of genes. Okay, the banding pattern is every time similar. So a particular band has some types of genes. Some other band has some types of genes. That's why they can the banding pattern can also be used in chromosome mapping as a markers. Okay, so this is also one of the interesting feature and interesting tool to construct the chromosome maps. Okay, and let's come to, yeah, if you see here, there are some other regions, the expanded regions, enlarged portion or puffing portion of chromosome. You know, if you see here, there are chromosomal puffs. So here, what happens here, at some portion, at some time of cell division, you know, so this enlarged portion, portion means carry out active transcription, active production of mRNAs. Okay, the genetic information transcribes into mRNA in this puffing region, enlarged region of means salivary gland chromosomes. So these enlarged puffing regions are also known as Balbiani puffs or Balbiani rings. So they can represent the actively transcribing regions. You know, their active transcription carry out. They can produce many mRNAs and proteins which are necessary at that particular developmental stage. Okay, so there are, after that they can disappear. Okay, so that's why we can able to see many Balbiani puffing regions, many Balbiani rings. Okay, this is also electron microscope photograph. We can able to see a clear visible Balbiani puffing regions. So these puffing regions are actively transcribing areas. After transcription, they may disappear. Okay, so that's why the Balbiani puffing regions, Balbiani rings appear at some other locations. Okay, depending upon the which genes has to be transcribed at a particular time. Okay, that's why after that they can disappear. So this is the a special type of chromosomes, that is the salivary gland chromosomes. They are also known as polychain chromosomes because a single type of chromosome, can replicate means many times without nuclear division. That's why it can form many copies of same chromonemata. That's why there are more copies of same DNA copies we can able to see in a particular cell. That's why the name has come to these chromosomes as polychain chromosomes. Okay, up to 1,000 copies in Drosophila. You know, that's why they are arranged into radiating structures. Okay, we have seen earlier picture. You know, so this is the polychain chromosomes. They can form a radiating structure. They can meet at one point. The meeting point is known as chromocenter. Okay, let's come to the second type of gained chromosome, that is lamp brush chromosomes. Okay, so this is the lamp brush chromosomes. I will show you electron microscopic picture. So this is the lamp brush chromosomes. Okay, so they are also observed in amphibians, the oocytes and spermatocytes of many amphibians, for example salamanders. Okay, later on they are also found in vertebrates, invertebrates, and they are also found in many plants. Okay, so here the means lamp brush chromosomes also present in many organisms, including plants and animals. Okay, so actually the polygene, the what we can say that these chromosomes can form during the meiosis, early stage of the meiosis. Okay, so here the lamp brush chromosomes can produce loops, many loops at the same loci, at the same locus, at a same point, up to many loops can form, and it can appear like a bottle brush, bottle cleaning brush. Okay, so that's why the name has come to these chromosomes, lamp brush chromosomes. Earlier times we can use to clean the brushes, chimneys of lamps, the glass chimneys of lamps in ancient times, that's why the name has come to these chromosomes, lamp brush chromosomes. Okay, they also look like lamp brush chromosomes or bottle brush chromosomes. That's why the name has come to these chromosomes, lamp brush chromosomes, as because which can form many loops at the same point of loci. Okay, up to many, up to 9, sometimes up to 10,000, right? So many loops are formed during the meiosis. Okay, because they are oocytes or spermatocytes, you know. So they can, we can able to see these lamp brush chromosomes in oocytes. Main oocytes are spermatocytes, sexual chromosomes, right? So during the meiosis, the bivalents, the chromosomes form to they can pair to form bivalents. So these sister chromosomes, the bivalent chromosomes can form loops in opposite directions, opposite, a pair of loops form. Actually, sometimes more than two, up to 9, 10 copies. Okay, sometimes more than many copies, so like that, many loops form at the same loci. Always the formation of loops is similar. That's why the formation of loops also a marker for chromosome mapping. So here the looping area facilitates transcription. The bivalent chromosomes, okay, the homologous chromosomes of meiosis, the bivalent chromosomes of meiosis, they can form a pair of loops from bivalent chromosomes at a particular gene loci, you know. So that's why the formation of particular loci, particular site, particular position gives some particular markers. So that's why, and the formation of loci facilitates active transcription. Okay, so at the loop region, the DNA portion actively transcribes to form mRNA and proteins. The newly forming mRNA and protein together forms a matrix around the loop. Okay, I will show you, right? This is the matrix, matrix which is forming from newly forming proteins and mRNA together forms a matrix around the loop, so there are many loops of bivalent chromosomes. The formation of loops starting from starting of meiosis, but the looping size and number of loops increase at diplotin stage. The means the most number of loops and the biggest size of the loops we can able to see when the cell reaches to the diplotin stage. Okay, so after transcription, okay, so then cell enters to the next stage. So the number of loops and the size of the loops is very large. There are very large number of loops and a very large size of the loops, so we can able to see at diplotin stage of prophase 1 of meiosis. Okay, so this is lamp brush chromosomes, right? Apart from these two chromosomes, there are third type of chromosomes. They are known as B chromosomes. B for Bombay. B chromosomes. Actually, what is meant by B chromosomes? Just remember that autosomes and allosomes of a particular organism are called as A chromosomes. You know, right? Autosomes and allosomes. Together they are called as A chromosomes. Apart from these A chromosomes, sometimes in many organisms there are extra chromosomes. They are known as B chromosomes. They are extra. They are not homologous to any one of the A chromosome. They are not homologous to any one of the A chromosome. They are completely extra chromosome. They have little genetic information. Okay. So these B chromosomes found in many plants, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, and the developed family Poaceae, more than have B chromosomes. And one interesting feature is that many, all the plants may not be contain B chromosomes of same genera. Some plants have, some plants do not have. The plants of same genera may not be exhibit B chromosomes, may not be contain B chromosomes. Some have, some do not have. And all the parts of plants may not be present, may not be contain B chromosomes. In a single plant, some tissues have B chromosomes, some tissues do not have B chromosomes. So that's why the distribution of B chromosomes is not equal. Okay, so that's why, and moreover, B chromosomes are not homologous to A chromosomes. They are purely extra chromosome. They are very small compared to A chromosomes. They have little genetic information, and moreover, they cannot follow Mendelian inheritance laws. Mostly they are eliminated during the meiosis. Okay, they are eliminated most of the times. And moreover, when the B chromosomes number is more, they are present in a large number, they may interfere with height of the plant, weight of the plant, and vigor and fertility of the plant. Sometimes they can delay the flowering of a plant, So that's why the B chromosomes, presence of B chromosomes, right? They can interfere with developmental issues and flowering and fertility, like that. So moreover, they are not homologous to any one of the A chromosomes. Okay, A chromosomes nothing but allosomes and autosomes. They are purely extra chromosomes present in many plants, So that's why these three types of chromosomes are known as special types of chromosomes, because their morphology and structure is different from common chromosomes. Okay, salivary gland chromosomes, lamp brush chromosomes, and B chromosomes. Right? Thank you very much.